I've got a billionaire who sold the company for a few $1 billion that's wanting to launch just a really big company in the health space that's literally going to disrupt longevity. I have to integrate the stuff that Jerem is going to be talking about and sharing with you and interviewing with all these experts around the world in my own life. So I'm going to be listening in, but I'm excited to transition the podcast to you so that ultimately this movement continue and really transform as many people's lives as possible.
Yeah, that is the ultimate goal. Hello there. Welcome to the Superhuman Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Dr. Jerem Ipson, and I am here with the original Superhuman Entrepreneur, Dr. Isaac Jones. We'll talk more about that in just a second, because what we're going to talk about today is how you can expand and level up yourself and become a superhuman entrepreneur, where you can dominate in business, you can dominate at home, dominate in your marriage, dominate as a parent, and in your health. Because that's so important. Those keys, we're going to help you be able to learn how to perform your best, show up for your best in all those places, and also do that for as long as you want to do. The longevity is the key. That's some of the favorite things that I love sharing. I know Isaac loves sharing all about that too. And if that's not all, we're going to top it off with the 3 deadliest things that you can do as an entrepreneur that are killing you, slowing you down, preventing you from reaching your max potential. So, Isaac, welcome. Glad to be here. We have a transition to talk about. We have lots to talk about.
Oh, we do have a lot to talk about. I'm so excited to, share about really what it means to be superhuman entrepreneur, what entrepreneurs can do to get to new levels of health and vitality. And we're going to talk about a lot today, but I'm excited because I started Superhuman Entrepreneur back, I believe, in 2014. And, we had, hundreds of thousands of people that have gone to our events and listen to our podcast. This particular podcast became an Inc. Top 10 podcast. It was number 1 on the iTunes list for years. And, we just got a lot of great feedback because of it. Now, some of my businesses as an entrepreneur completely took off, and I had to make a decision where to invest my time. And so that's why I'm excited to, transition this incredible conversation, which will help you really learn how to access high performance, how to access the most cutting edge solutions in longevity, how you can increase your productivity so you can actually become more creative and capable as an entrepreneur to be more, more profitable in your business. Ultimately, when you upgrade your health, that you're upgrading your brain function, your ability to be more creative, your ability to come up with new integrative, ideas. I'm in conversations today with people that, have gone from 0 to $150 million in just 3 years in their company. And they're wanting me to come in and support them in how to exit. I've got, a billionaire who sold the company for a few $1 billion that's, wanting to launch just a really big company in the health space that's literally going to disrupt longevity. So we're talking about, I have to integrate the stuff that Jerem is going to be talking about and sharing with you and interviewing with all these experts around the world in my own life. So I'm going to be listening in, but I'm excited to transition the podcast to you so that ultimately this movement can continue and really transform as many people's lives as possible.
Yeah, that is the ultimate goal. And I was thinking back to, because I've known you, Isaac, for quite a while. I believe the first place I found you is because some 10 years ago or something, I had the idea that, I like working with entrepreneurs. I want to create superhuman entrepreneurs. And I Googled it and searched and I found your website. And I was like, this guy already stole my idea, signed up for your email list. And, lo and behold, now we're friends, we're working together. And so I'm super honored and feel privileged that you're willing to pass this on to me. This is your baby. We'll definitely keep working and leveling up your baby and help it do amazing things to help amazing entrepreneurs. And what I love thinking about is the difference that difference makes. So if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur and you want to level up and you level up, then your business levels up, then your employees' lives are going to level up, their family life is going to be happier. And not only that, every single person that you as an entrepreneur help and touch also benefits. And so as we do that, we have an exponential compounding effect of changing the world, because there's so much craziness going on in this world right now. We don't even talk about that. There's way too many things to list. the way that that solution is going to happen is going to be from entrepreneurs. And so we need to level up, whether you're an entrepreneur in your little small hometown or whether you're an entrepreneur that's going to make an impact in the world across the whole globe. You need to level up. That's what we need to do as entrepreneurs, is level up to be able to make that happen and provide those solutions.
Real quick, let's future pace a doomsday scenario where the economy crashes, people are dealing with a lot of, challenges in their business. What is the one thing that you want during a down economy or a doomsday scenario like that? You want your mind, you want your health, right? So, but people don't just stumble upon it. They need to like be intentional about it, which is why, this is an investment. Learning about optimizing performance and transforming your health is essential to, being in a place, no matter what happens in the economy, no matter what happens in your business, you're going to have your mind. You can control your happiness with your mind, your health, your physiology. Literally, as a pharmacy, every single second of every day is creating peptides and neuropeptides and neurotransmitters and hormones and endorphins and enkephalins and all of those things that either are helping you become happier, healthier, whether there's a up economy or down economy, or it's helping, or it's going to, create destruction and a positive feedback loop that creates, low energy, brain fog, fatigue, difficulty sleeping, stress responses, sympathetic responses, et cetera, et cetera. So excited to get into this, Jerem.
Absolutely. And if you're listening and you're like, what the heck did Isaac just say? Don't worry. Eventually we'll have an episode covering each of those topics so you can learn the basics of those and learn how to apply those and take advantage of those ideas in your own life. Yes. So Isaac, I know I definitely want to kind of touch on your entrepreneur journey, because that's why we're here to share our successes so others can learn from that. But my first question for you is, what do you love about being an entrepreneur?
You get to like control your own destiny. I just got back from vacation a couple of weeks ago with my family from 30A. I travel the world. I have freedom. I have freedom. I love entrepreneurship because it also makes a massive impact and difference in the world. So I just love the impact that we're making. It's fun to be able to generate, healthy revenue for my family and for investing into things in the future, for giving to nonprofits and people and organizations that I believe in. So the philanthropic element of entrepreneurship is a really big passion of mine. And I think that, as an entrepreneur, we're the modern day superheroes. Batman doesn't exist. Iron Man doesn't exist. Like Wonder Woman doesn't exist. You exist. I'm hanging out with this guy who I feel like is the Black Panther. I mean, he's this African American guy that, just built like, this incredible, I was just talking about it earlier, $150 million plus company. And I told him, I'm like, bro, you're creating Wakanda. Like, what you are building Wakanda. He's like, dude, I think about that every day. He's like, brother, yes. He's like, he's like, I don't know how it's happened, but man, I've leaned on God and God has like opened doors. And, he's like, I've had no stress through this process. I just prayed that it would happen and it's happening, which is an element of entrepreneurship, is your mindset and your spiritual heart space. So I just love entrepreneurship because you're not anyone's boss. You're the boss. You're in control of your destiny. And like my boy, that I was sharing with earlier, like he's creating his own destiny. Like I'm flying out on his private jet, not this Monday, but the Monday after. And we're going to tour some interesting facilities and whatnot. But it's fun, like entrepreneurship is fun. It's impactful. It's like, I can't even think of retiring. Like if you are an entrepreneur and you understand the superhuman entrepreneur philosophy of like really taking control of your life and your health and your mindset and your mental health and your emotional health, you are going to live a heaven on earth. You're going to live a elevated version of yourself. And what that's going to do is it's going to enable you to enjoy entrepreneurship, because I'll tell you, most entrepreneurs don't love entrepreneurship. They don't like it because they're burned out, they're fatigued, they're brain fogged. But I'm telling you, if you continue to follow Jerem, if you continue to listen in on this podcast, you're going to learn how to elevate your sleep, your energy, your creativity, your internal physiology, all the organ systems of the body will probably be discussed on this podcast. All of the exciting things and in longevity, like mitophagy and autophagy and apoptosis and getting rid of senescent cells out of the body and all of these things so you guys can live to 120, 130, 140, 150. My goal is 156, right? So, that's what's possible here. So that's what I love about entrepreneurship is that here's what my entrepreneur coach told me. He's like, entrepreneurs, they make crap up and then they go make it happen. So that's what it's about. But it's a lot easier to make crap up and go make it happen and be a visionary and creator when you're healthy than when you're not. This is your secret sauce to building whatever kind of business that you want to build in the future.
Hey, Dr. J here. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and like the information that we're providing, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and like the podcast because it helps us to be able to expand our reach to find other entrepreneurs. Your support helps us to reach other entrepreneurs and help us to help them truly unlock their superhuman potential and make the world a better place. And that's where I want to actually steer the topic, right? You touched on it. You were talking about it, stirring around, but then that term came up, visionary. And like, that's one of the reasons why I was so attracted to you. And like, I need to be friends with this guy because I have lots of big thoughts, big plans, big ideas. And I met you and you're like, let's make them happen. Let's do it. And other people, they squash that down. And so I feel like that's one of your biggest superhuman entrepreneur skills that you have is your visionary mind and then making it happen. So I want to, first talk about that in general, but then I want to hear specifically what visions did you have and what you've created and what are you creating next?
Yeah. This superhuman entrepreneur is my baby. It's something we've transformed thousands of entrepreneurs' lives through this movement. And, I'm passing it on to you. And it was a tough decision because I was like, man, I just love this. I love doing what I'm doing. But I'll tell you, Jerem's going to take incredible care of you. As a clinician, he is helping people reverse unbelievable challenges. He's helping people lose, all this weight. The pre and posts are incredible. We've had one person, he showed me he's gained, 10 pounds of muscle in like a month or 2 months. It's absolutely
30
incredible.
pounds of fat.
Well, losing 30 pounds of fat, right? So, I mean, he's the kind of guy that gets it. And that's going to go hard for you and work hard for you and get you incredible results moving forward. But vision. Vision is, the definition of vision is a clear mental picture of what could be that is fueled by the conviction that it should be. So it doesn't exist, right? It's just a vision. We create it with our minds, right? You are prophetically, creating with your mind, with your thoughts on a regular basis, right? Your brain and your thoughts and your words are constantly prophesying over yourself and over other people. The other thing is that your brain is like a pharmacy or an apothecary. You create chemicals based off the thoughts that you think. So if you're thinking about, your spouse, and you're thinking about her or him sexually or whatever it might be, all of a sudden you get an erection, you get aroused. How the heck does your thought create something, a muscle, in your body or whatever to have that kind of reaction? It's because you're literally creating physical neuropeptides that will flood into the bloodstream within seconds. And then all of a sudden it's impacting your physiology and impacting expression of your genes. So, that's a silly example, right? But I just want to show you the impact of your thinking. So your vision and the clarity of your vision moving forward, what do you want to create is one of the most important things that entrepreneurs have, right? We've done over $1.2 billion in exits, in our group that Jeremy and I are part of. And there's no way that we could have ever done that if we didn't have vision. Now, when we're talking about what we're going to do, we don't know how we're going to do it. We have no clue, right? But we speak it, we communicate it, we take action towards driving towards the vision of the future. Boom. I've wanted to build a longevity resort. I reached out to Horst Schulze, who is the founder of the Ritz-Carlton. He emailed me back. I was like, oh my gosh, we set up meetings. Now he's my senior board advisor for a new hospitality longevity company that I'm going to be launching in the future. So it's like, well, how did that happen? How the heck do you get the founder of the Ritz-Carlton to align with one of your visions? I had to create a clear mental picture of what could be and had the conviction that it should be, enough so that I went to his contact us page on his website and, sent a message about my vision for what I think is possible. So that right there is what entrepreneurs do. We're visionary. We create with our minds. We go after it. And we build the team around us to make it happen. And so we want to be a part of your team. Jerem wants to be a part of your team in just educating you in the content on Superhuman Entrepreneur, as well as anything else that we can do to support you, that he can do to support you in particular, as I'm going off and doing other things. But yeah, great question. I love that question. And it's an important element of the entrepreneurial journey for sure.
By the way, I expect to be there on opening weekend for your resort when that happens in a couple of years. So just putting that out there too as part of my vision for the future. So, but yeah, you mentioned something that I feel is really important that sometimes gets stuck. And I remember I was stuck in this spot when I was just starting out my entrepreneur journey is, you have the big vision, but how do you find those people to help you? Because like you said, us visionaries, we're not very good at figuring out the how. We're figuring out, we know what we want to achieve. But yeah, so I know you've done this lots of times, finding the right people to help you make that vision come true. So share, how can we learn to do that?
First of all, in my ontological leadership coaching, my coach said, who are you being to create? And I'm like, what do you mean who are you being to create? He's like, well, who are you being to create? Like, what are your thoughts? What are the words you're using? How are you showing up in life? How are you taking care of your own health and mindset? And that right there creates a way of being that then people are attracted to. And if you create that way of being that people are attracted to, they want to align with your vision and your goals and and the things that they want to do, you want to do in the future. So I ask myself is how the heck do I have somebody that just sold a $165 million company want to work with me? How the heck does that happen? Well, I have a clear mental picture of what could be, fueled by the conviction that it should be, and then I communicate it. Even though it might be I sloppily communicate it, people are like, I get it. I like it. I want to align with this person. How is it that I had another guy that, built a $50 million plus company and he's like, hey, I want to work with you. It's like, wow, how do you attract those people? Well, first of all, you have to have a clear vision of what you want to create and then passionately communicate it to other people in a way that gets them to be like, you know what? Like, let's make this happen. Let's create this. And so that's one element is who are you being? What are the thoughts? What are the words that you're using? How are they aligned with the vision that you have? Right. And then your team is going to be attracted to that. I also pray. I pray to God that he would bring me the right people. Right. So I think there's a supernatural element to this as well. And then there's obviously the intelligent elements of how you hire. Right. So, you could use an agency to hire people. There's headhunters. I've done that. I've also just asked for referrals from people that already work with us. That's a great way to get new talent because if you know that they're already good people know other good people. Another way to find people is just put out really good job descriptions and just make sure inside the job description at the bottom, you say, respond to this job description with pink elephant in the title, or else we will not respond to you. And so all the people that are just, copy and pasting the same thing, you just delete them because you know that they don't actually care about your company. They're just trying to find a job. They're just, doing the thing. You want to see the people that wrote pink elephant in the title so that you can see that this person actually cares and read your entire job description and created a meaningful response. So that way you're not interviewing all of these tire kickers and people that don't really give a heck what you actually do. And then, Horst Schulze, who's hired the top people in the industry of hospitality, he told me when you're hiring, he said there's a huge opportunity to get people to really come to your environment in a way where they're like really, really committed to your mission. And he said, it's through the questions you ask. One of the questions that he asks is like, we are only looking to work with the best. We only work with the best of the best. We are committed to being the number one hospitality company in the world. The number one. Do you feel like you're the best for this job? Tell me why you're the best. So they're answering why they're the best for the job. But what it does is it rewires their brain to being like, you know what? This is the best. I'm going to be coming into the best organization, etc. And then he said, secondly and secondarily is the onboarding process. This is where most people they mess up. I was on a call with Flippin, who's won Entrepreneur of the Year with his wife, and he has a 3-month process of onboarding, and then people start working in his company. And the Ritz-Carlton has a 2-month onboarding process, and then they can start working, right? And what do they do? They train. They make sure that everyone knows the SOPs, that they are so dialed in. Now, I looked at my businesses. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hire people and then I throw them right away to start working. And, that's not what the best companies in the world do. But you also have an opportunity to rewire their brains during the hiring process to in the onboarding of the actual team member. You got to get really committed to creating excellence in every element of the training process. So those are the two things that can help you rewire the brains of people to make them come to work. And he's like, dude, we'd have people in New York City that had, tattoos on their arms and, they had a sideways hat in the interview. And then we ended up hiring them, and you see them show up and they are polished and they show up and you wouldn't even notice that. You couldn't even tell it was the same person, right? Because these people are bringing themselves to the environment in such a way where they're just like, whoa, I'm working for the number one hospitality company in the world. And so I'm not saying you start saying, hey, I'm the number one, whatever in the world, but have something that's compelling enough where people are like, whoa, like I'm going to bring myself to working with this company because they are absolutely incredible. And the last thing I would say in hiring is just get people to do Kolbe-C do a Kolbe-C analysis, Kolbe analysis. All of our top companies that have scaled to over 100 million, right? They've done this. And then do a Kolbe-A analysis. Get them to do a Kolbe-A analysis, Kolbe analysis. And then you can see what their strengths are. People have done this with the Gallup, strengths finder profiling as well. That's really important. But either do one sort of personality profile like a Myers-Briggs or a DISC profile, do some sort of cognitive profile like a Kolbe analysis, and then do some sort of strengths finder profile with like the strengths finder test from Gallup. So those are some keys to hiring the best talent.
So, I think that's the master class there of just how to do it in that quick little 5 minutes. The one thing that I would add, because we're going through a hiring process ourselves, always be on the lookout for good talent, because you see people that care. And I remember I was at an event, totally random event, not related to anything. I was there with my daughters, and there was someone, an employee there at this little table, running the table basically. And I was like, I could just see how she was interacting with people. I just observed and saw that she cared. And then afterwards I approached her. I was like, hey, are you interested? And, just kind of collected her information. Turns out she is super amazing, super smart. She learns everything I teach her so quickly. And she's like the best employee ever. And she's working for someone else at a totally different event, different type of job. And now she's my star employee. And the other thing beyond that, great people know great people. And so we actually interviewed almost all of her friends for this new position that we're going to have. And so now I'm sending them all the Kolbe tests to see which one of them is going to be the best fit to match up with me and my strengths and my weaknesses, to do that. Because they're, amazing people like amazing people. So if you have an amazing person, ask them if they know someone else that could be a good fit. So
I love it.
But, okay. You made me think of one of my favorite parables. that's like my favorite entrepreneur parable. So I don't know if you're out there listening, you're like, Jesus Christ didn't teach about parables, but this is in Matthew, or didn't teach about entrepreneurship, but I feel like he did. In Matthew 25, it's the parable of the talents. And so the parable of talent is where there's the man traveling in a far country and he has servants. And so he gives the first servant 5 talents. He gives the second servant 2 talents, and he gives the third servant 1 talent. And so then he leaves, and he comes back. And in that time he was gone, that first servant, he took that 5 talents and he grew it into 10 talents. And the second servant took that 2 talents and he grew it into 4 talents. The third servant, he was afraid and he hid his talent. He didn't grow his talent. And so he ended up, not having success. And so the first 2 talents had the wonderful privilege of hearing, well done, my good and faithful servant. And then one of them even got that talent that was left by the third. And so I feel like we're here on this earth. All of us have different talents that we have, whether you have 5 or 2 or 1, that doesn't matter. But our job here is to amplify those talents and share those privileges with people. And then we get the value from that as well. The more that we share and grow, the more that we benefit and the more that other people benefit. And so, I love that parable. I feel like it fits definitely with what our overall theme is here at Superhuman Entrepreneur: help yourself grow so that you can, you get to benefit financially, but it's more of that impact that you have. It's more of who you become in that process to really through that whole story of your life and your entrepreneur journey. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or.
No, I think just think about that from a health perspective. Most people don't do anything with their health. People that start to, flex some muscles here around trying to experiment with different things and listen to these podcasts and episodes and start integrating things here and there. They're the ones that are going to get the results. They're the ones that are going to live to, we are in the biggest battle of our lives with health because the chemical companies are pouring poisons and toxins into our water systems. And 65% of Americans are drinking atrazine in their water at higher than what EPA recommended daily allowance is. And what they know in animal studies is that it gender benders the animals, and it also in 10% of the particular animals they studied, and it causes infertility in 50% of the animals. You look at infertility rates in the UK, infertility rates in the United States, they're sky high. You've got the food industry that is poisoning us with all these disgusting chemicals. And, as vegetable oil and all of the various oils, and it sounds really good. Vegetable oil, it's actually toxic for you. It causes rapid aging and inflammation in your body. That's why fast food is a fast way to die, because you're getting essentially all of these toxic oils where the half-life is 165 days. It literally takes almost a year to get rid of the oils out of your body that you eat a year before. So if you're eating more and more of these toxic oils, let alone all the chemicals, the pesticides, the herbicides that they spray, et cetera. So we have got to upgrade our drainage pathways. We have to upgrade the understanding of how to detox. We have to integrate the best lifestyle strategies. We are in a battle. We're in a war. And superhuman entrepreneurs, they stand up and they fight. And they're the ones that are the healthiest, the most vibrant, and the most, they're the ones that will get the rewards for the talents that they invest, right? So just keep on listening and, follow Jerem and everything he's doing. I highly recommend it. And it's just exciting, what I think will get created for you, the listener.
Lots of things there. And definitely, we have this stewardship to do it. We have our health that we're stewards over. We have our families, our marriages that we're over, and our businesses. And so we got to be able to take advantage of that and work in all those areas to do that. We have the privilege. We don't have to, we get to do these things and to take care of that. So, All right. So let's start diving in. Let's just touch quickly. We kind of talked about it earlier. Entrepreneurs, they're busy, working 27 hours a day, 10 days a week, running here and there, all the different things, right? Having a marriage, being a parent, all their employees are under demand. But what are the 3 deadliest things that you see affecting entrepreneurs today?
Yeah. So the number one thing is just a lack of awareness around what they're eating. It's these hidden poisons in our foods, and entrepreneurs, they drive hard. That you may be flying a lot. You may be in business meetings quite a bit. And we go and we eat out at restaurants. And look, I do the same thing, but I'm also careful with the things that I choose from the menu. And I make sure that my home environment is a sacred place where the best foods are served, and that we're ordering in, organic meat and organic fish and getting the best produce, right? We have to be very diligent with what we're eating, because that is what will help us elevate or not elevate. Now, I was just doing an interview for a longevity summit that I'm doing. And this individual was talking about urolithin A all the way to urolithin M. He was talking about all the benefits, how it's anti-parasitic. It's got antiviral properties. It actually acts very similar to ivermectin in the body without the side effects on the liver. There's a lot of really huge benefits. Now, 50% of the population can't metabolize urolithin from the polyphenol, which is what is it called? Let me just pull it up. It's allergic acid. So what does that tell you? It tells you that some people, 50%, will eat the polyphenol allergic acid, and they will be able to metabolize urolithin A through M, which is great. 50% won't be able to. Well, why? It's because of our microbiomes. So everyone's like, oh, just go on the paleo diet. Just go on the autoimmune cellular health diet. Go on the ketogenic diet. Go carnivore. Go raw. Right? Go vegan. Go vegetarian. There's all these different diets, but the reality is people don't understand that our microbiomes, our viromes, which is the viruses in your body, which are actually really healthy for you, the healthy viruses, your all of these different elements of your body, your physiology, your metabolism, that's important. So it's no longer you are what you eat. It is you are what you metabolize. So different diets are important for different people. And it depends again on your microbiome. Some people might do really well with a high vegetable diet and they're eating meat very, very little. Other people may do really well with a high carnivore diet. What I want you to do is I want you to experiment. I want you to biohack your body. Superhuman Entrepreneur is an N of one approach to health. It's all about creating customization and not just saying, this is the one diet that you need to go on. But in order to get there, you have to be in a state of awareness around what you're eating and the things that will destroy your body. So keep listening to the podcast. And I know that Jerem's going to share a little bit about what he's been researching and uncovering around some of the dietary bombshells that have just come out lately. But anything you want to add before I go to step 2, Jerem?
So no, I think that's key. And like I said earlier, if you're like, what the heck is Isaac talking about? All those medical scientific terms, don't worry. We will cover all those over time and help you be able to learn to apply that into your life so you can take that. So, all right, number 2, what's number 2?
Yeah. Number 2 is a lack of movement, right? A lot of people don't realize that it's not about going to the gym. It's not about working out. What it's about is being fit. And one of the things that my friend does is he parks at the very top of the parking lot of this building that he lives in, or that he works in, downtown Atlanta. This is Horst Schulze, the founder of the Ritz-Carlton. And he walks all the way down the stairs, and then he walks all the way up the stairs. He does that. Why? Because he's creating a lifestyle of exercise. Right? I've got a treadmill right here. Normally I'm in a standing desk. I'll stand up right now as I talk about that. But standing versus sitting is, really healthy. It's really good. It's what you ideally want to do. And then if you're walking, right, on a treadmill, that's also a really good thing. But this is a fitness oriented lifestyle. And Rhonda Patrick shared at a longevity event I was keynoting at earlier this year, this concept of exercise snacks. It's just, squatting for 10 to 20 times after a meal, doing it maybe on a break in between. That's actually more impactful than, than working out. Like there's more data that shows how impactful exercise snacks, if you're consistent with just like a 1 minute exercise, a few times a day versus working out once or twice a week, is substantially better physiologically than just that 1 or 2 exercises a week. So the thing is, what can we do to integrate exercise snacks into our health, into our life? Like my monitor can go up, right? It can go down. The ergonomics of my desk space is, I think, really, really good. And it should be something that you pay attention to as well. So that's important. And then we've got number 3. Okay. And number 3 is very essential for entrepreneurs. And I think it's one of the biggest things that hijacks an entrepreneur's health. It's going to bed and waking up at different times every day. Listen, if you just do one thing with your health for your sleep that will impact your peptide levels in your brain and your body and your neurotransmitters and optimize your hormones and detox your body and get your body in a good place, it's going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time every night. I'm talking about the biggest hack in sleep. It's getting on the same biological rhythm every single day. And I'll tell you, like I used to enjoy some wine from here and there, but as I've been, biohacking and wearing my Garmin watch and my Oura ring and all that, the level of just impact that alcohol has in your body on sleep is so substantial. And what I noticed is it actually impacts me not just for 1 day, but actually 3 days. So my performance is low for 3 days. So, I go out to London, England, have a great time, get some Dom Perignon, get some of the best, beverages I could possibly get at Velvet, one of the top bars in London. They gave me this because I ordered so much. And that was the last time I drank. I came home, it was the best, experience. And then, I felt like I was going to vomit. The next day, I was just completely like keeled over. And I was like, well, I always tell myself I'm going to have 1 glass and then I have 2 and then I'll have 3. And so what if I just stop, And so I would say that sleep is essential, but I would track your sleep, use the Oura ring, use whatever other wearables, Whoop band. Yep. Jerem's got one right there.
Samsung ring.
The saffron ring. Yeah.
The Samsung ring. Yeah.
Oh, the Samsung. I didn't even know they had one. That's cool. It's just, being committed to going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And then Jerem's going to get into all the sleep hacks in the future, right? Like the blue light blocking and the, the temperature, the ideal temperature of sleep, all of the things to get deeper sleep and things of that nature. But, just stay tuned to the Superhuman Entrepreneur podcast. Jerem's going to bring on the best guests, speakers, and just excited about it, Jerem.
So there was, just review 1, lack of awareness about your food you're eating. So important. You gotta know what you're putting in your mouth. You gotta know that impact it's having on your health. Number 2,
catch up to you.
Yeah, your lack of awareness of movement, and people. It's so surprising how little exercise you actually need to get the benefits. Like you're saying, those exercise snacks, it's all you need. You don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours, 5 times a week to be fit. That's not the reality of the situation. You can if you want to, but it's so simple. Those little exercise snacks, that's brilliant. Sleep, so important. Number 3, you threw in the bonus one there of number 4 of avoiding alcohol. I'm just right now writing a script for a video for our program about avoiding alcohol and all those negative impacts you just listed. The return on investment from alcohol is so negative because, like you just described, not only does it affect you that night, you make bad choices that day, but it affects you for multiple days and you're performing at lower levels. It's just crazy. And the data is super clear, super easy on it too. It's not just you, it's everyone that's impacting. And if I was going to add one more, I would say it's not listening to your body. Your body is designed to tell you when things are wrong. And so if you just ignore those signs, ignore those symptoms, ignore what your body's trying to tell you, then it's going to just end up getting worse and worse. So there's 3 + 2, deadliest things that are stopping entrepreneurs from being successful. So
amazing.
All right. As we wind up, Isaac, any final words of wisdom you have? I'm sure we'll probably have you on occasionally over time too, just because I know you well and you have such great ideas. So,
I would just say that in order to create the highest level of health, because that's what Jeremy and I do, is we have supported the health of billionaires, high level entrepreneurs, the people that are, top athletes, NFL players, celebrities in Hollywood, et cetera. There's a theme. The people that get results is they decide, okay, I'm going to make an effort to become healthy. You don't have to be perfect. You can just get incrementally better, every single day, every single week. You slip up, so what? Reframe, get back on the bandwagon and keep moving. My commission to you is make the commitment. Make the commitment to listen to this podcast. Make the commitment to, I'm going to stay healthy. The decision, the identity. So anytime you look at behavior change science, the people that actually change their health are the people that create a new identity around who they are being around health moving forward. And what I would ask for you to do is create a new way of being, a new identity for yourself. That is, I am going to commit to being healthy. I'm going to commit to being a superhuman entrepreneur. And I would say, I am a superhuman entrepreneur to yourself every single morning when you're brushing your teeth. That's your trigger. Every time you're brushing your teeth, you're like, I am a superhuman entrepreneur. And identify as that and continue to move forward like that. But Jeremy's got some just incredible gifts, talents, and abilities. Both of us, Jeremy's ripped. He's got incredible, physique. I was so blown away when I saw him last, and, people, they're like, oh, are you getting ready for a fitness competition? I'm like, no, this is just how I am. It's like, if you want a 6-pack, if you want to be ripped, if you want to, be healthy in the long run, like, you got to just start integrating these things we talk about on a regular basis. And you don't have to be perfect. You can just do it incrementally. So shift that identity, make the decision today. That's what I would share in conclusion.
And so here's my little surprise. You don't even know this. This is how I'm sprinkling my vision on the Superhuman Entrepreneur podcast, is that not only do we want you to listen, but every episode is a double episode. So after you finish clicking this one, or if this one clicks off, our next episode is going to be an action step episode where we help you, dissect the things that we do in this interview. We're going to get down to specific bullet points and actions, because, you probably listened to hundreds of podcasts over time. How much action have you actually taken? So that's what we're about. We're about action. We're about creating superhuman entrepreneurs here. And so as we wind up, keep listening, because up next is the next episode of the Superhuman Entrepreneur podcast, episode season 2, 1-B, where we're going to tell you how to take the action steps we talked about and start implementing in your life. And not only that, there is a community that we're creating for discussions on this topics, for you to return and report and have accountability about what we learn now, to implement in your life. So be sure to take advantage of that. Click the links that are on our social media, in the podcast bio, and let's create superhuman entrepreneurs together, because that's how we change the world.
It's awesome, Jeremy. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Entrepreneurs are the modern day superheroes. Batman doesn't exist. Iron Man doesn't exist. Wonder Woman doesn't exist, but you do exist. We want you to level up yourself, create that vision, that clear mental picture of what you see your role. What's your superhuman role that you're going to play in this world? What impact are you going to have, whether it's just in your small little community, your small little town, or is it going to be in the world? There's a lot of impact that you can have. The power of one person is so much greater than we realize. You enjoying the podcast? Help us reach more entrepreneurs like you by leaving a review. As a thank you, everyone who leaves a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing for some exciting prizes. We are here to help you more than just listen. Head over to superhumanentrepreneur.com, click on community, and join a powerful network of entrepreneurs that are striving to be their best. Each episode includes action steps, resources, and accountability to help you to implement these ideas and start seeing results.